Have it.
Was that probably your biggest moment thus far this season?
Yes, I hope that's not the end point. But yeah, that definitely has been the biggest moment so far.
And it's also kind of a rarity for a tight end to catch a pass out of the Air Force wishbone. But it does happen occasionally. In fact, in the Army game, the Falcons had decided to go for two again. And when I saw B.J. huddled along with Coach DeBerry and the others on the sideline, I thought the play had been called again. But this time a run, Johnny Smith up the middle for two. B.J. still played a big part. In fact, he did what he does best, and that is block. In fact, because the tight ends are primarily blockers at Air Force, tight ends coach Dick Inga told us he doesn't call the guys tight ends. They're known as outside tackles.
Split tackles is what we say. Yeah, that's right. Pretty much that's correct. I don't know. We're hoping to get Coach DeBerry to throw to us more, but, you know, when you play tight end here, you pretty much accept the fact that you're going to do a lot of blocking. And, you know, we complain and joke around about it, but, you know, we really don't mind that much.
B.J. is a 6'2", 211-pound senior from Concord, North Carolina, who at the beginning of the season was listed #1 on the depth chart at tight end, but then ankle problems.
I've had ankle problems since I've been here, but, you know, it started getting bad after UTEP. I kind of messed up. Thing is though, I mean, Frank was moving really well then, so without a doubt, he was clearly #1 at the time, and that's when Coach Inga went with him, and I think it's a good idea because, you know, right then I wasn't moving well at all, so I think it's a good move.
And that shows you just how unselfish B.J. is. He's talking about number 92, Frank Martini, now the starter at tight end, who really came along beginning with that Utah game and this nice catch. But B.J. shows no animosity. He's just happy to be a part of this team, a team that many so-called experts wanted to write off at the beginning of the year. So it's especially pleasing to B.J. and all the seniors that once again the team is winning with a chance for the first time to win the WAC title outright.
Most of the people kind of talking down on us, but I think most everybody on the team kind of knew, you know, hey, we're not lacking that much, and I think we were going to have a good year, and this could be the first year we won the WAC championship outright, which would be, you know, a hell of an accomplishment.
It'd be something to be on national TV December 6th after most of the other schools are through playing BYU for the title.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, definitely will be sky high for that because we kind of feel like, you know, we let down last year at that game, so we're definitely going to have to come back and maybe even, you know, revenge that loss from last year.
For Air Force Football 86, I'm Lee Douglas.
Coach, I think there again you've got the Air Force. The team always comes first.
A team player, boy, you can say that again. And what a great contribution B.J. has given to our football team. Guys from good section of the country, North Carolina. But, boy, he's done a great job for us. And unfortunately, he had those ankle problems at the beginning of the year. Frank got a little ahead of him. Frank's done a great job and been very, very consistent. It's been tough for B.J. to get back in there. But, boy, what a great role he's played on our special teams and has done an outstanding job for that area. And, you know, it's just whatever, you know, the team needs. That's where B.J. is.
All right, Coach, we're going to meet another one of your assistants who is back at the academy. He's from a good section of the country, too. Here's Billy Mitchell. The newest member of the Air Force coaching staff is Major Billy Mitchell, but he's no stranger to the academy or the football program. He was on Ken Hatfield's staff as running back coach from 1979 until 1982, when he was reassigned to an Air Force base in Fairbanks, Alaska. And yes, Billy, along with his wife Nellie and 3 children, are glad to be back at the academy.
The reason I left to begin with is that I am a flyer, like I say, and I had to go back in my obligation to flying and complete that. Coach DeBerry, of course, came in as the offensive coordinator when I was here before, and we had a good relationship working together. And I told him that if I had an opportunity to come back at any time that I would. And, of course, when he took the head job, I kept in contact with him, and he said that when I had an opportunity, he would see whether or not I could come back.
Fairbanks, Alaska is a long ways from Colorado Springs. And was Coach Mitchell able to follow the Falcons at all during the last 3 years?
Yeah, occasionally I would get a televised game up there, and, of course, some of the times I would on a TDY mission or something, and my wife would videotape, and I was able to look at it when I come back. And, of course, I was able to meet the team in Hawaii this past year in '85, and I got to see them play over there. So papers and a couple of televised games, kept in touch with them.
Major Mitchell is one of 3 assistant coaches on Fisher DeBerry's staff who is in the Air Force, and that's a big plus.
Occasionally, and especially in the recruiting, there's a lot of questions that come up that the young recruits have about concerning the Air Force. And, of course, my experience in the Air Force and having gone through the ROTC program and being here at the Academy for the 4 years I was here before really helps out, and I think I'm able to answer those questions on a first-hand basis rather than having to get someone to get back to those recruits. And I think that's important. And part of the recruiting program here at the Air Force Academy is answering in the military, because that's the difference, is the military at the academy versus other universities.
As we heard Billy say, I know he's glad to be back, and you're glad to have him back.
Boy, what a blessing he is to us, and we're so glad to have he and Nellie and their three beautiful children, Brian and Taryn, and a beautiful family. But Billy, did such a great job for us whenever he was on Ken's staff, and Billy and I were so close together, and I have so much respect for him. And of course, like you say, he's from a good section of the United States, and they love the academy, love Colorado Springs, and we're just so proud to be able to get him to come back. And he's done a great job of coordinating the offense on our junior varsity team this year. And, think we've got some fine players down there at that area. And, of course, with his expertise with the wishbone, then he was able to ingrain with them, our thinking of what we'll be doing at the varsity. And he's just such a valuable member of our staff, and we're so proud and happy to have him back. Good recruiter, too.
All right, Coach. Well, believe it or not, folks, there's another open week. When we come back, we'll take a look at other opponents' scores and talk about Air Force plans. Other teams in the Western Athletic Conference. Let's take a look at scores from this past weekend. San Diego State, very impressive over Hawaii.
Boy, they put a good whipping on them, didn't they? I think San Diego State had them 21-0 in the first quarter. And, of course, that shows that San Diego State team is coming on.
And BYU, they didn't pass as much as they usually did, but they had an easy time with Utah.
Well, I talked to Lavelle the other day, and they've been struggling a little bit in the passing area, and, they've got some big old backs, and they're utilizing them. Matter of fact, they had 3 backs to rush for over 100 yards Saturday, John.
And look at that, UTEP knocking off Colorado State, kind of a surprise.
Sort of a surprise, but yet at the same time, boy, I'll tell you, that UTEP team has got some great athletes, some very talented young people, and Bob Stull and his staff have done a great job.
And New Mexico, we don't play this year, knocking off Memphis State. Let's quickly take a look at the WAC scores. So there it is, Coach. We want to talk about BYU and San Diego State. We'll play this next week.
Well, they play Saturday, and of course that's an ESPN game, and so that'll give us a good chance to, to see them. Come on, BYU, and but they're 2 big rivals, and it'll be a great game. They play in Jack Murphy Stadium out in San Diego, and of course, like I say, it'll be one heck of a football game, and of course BYU realizes the importance of the game just like we do.
All right, and of course, BYU, if they can beat San Diego State, you'll be playing for the WAC championship.
That's right. It'll come right down to our game here if they can beat San Diego, and then, hopefully that certainly the winner there will have the opportunity to represent our conference in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, and then the loser of that game might very well have the opportunity to go play in the Freedom Bowl or even possibility of the Aloha Bowl.
All right, Coach, we'll take a look more at the bowl picture, and we'll, of course, preview those BYU Cougars on our open week show. We'll be back next Monday night for the coach.
TV 13, the leader in sports television, presents Air Force Football 1986 with head coach Fisher DeBerry. Sponsored by the First National Bank, McDonald's, USAA Insurance, and True Value Hardware. Now your host, John Eves.
And good evening, everyone, from our Channel 13 studios. Final at Falcons Stadium, a cold and chilly Falcons Stadium, although the snow held off on Saturday afternoon. BYU 23, Air Force 3, and Coach, I know it's a tough way to end the season.
Well, John, it's certainly not the way we wanted to end the season, I can assure you of that, but it was a very disappointing loss. I guess the thing that disappointed me more than anything else was our seniors having to go out on such a painful loss. They've given so much to Falcon Stadium and to Falcon football, and of course it was such a special day for them in Falcon Stadium yesterday, but just didn't seem like it was our year. And sometimes the ball has got to bounce your way, and it didn't seem to bounce our way, particularly the latter part of the season. And some of the good things that happened to us in the year before, or the years before, just didn't seem to happen to us this year. But I really was proud of our effort yesterday. I thought our young men played extremely hard. They never gave up. They went in the fight all the dadgone way. And, we might have got caught maybe a little talent short in a couple of positions this year. But at the same time, I assure you one thing, we can't wait to get spring training starting, and the Falcons will be back.
Well, you had a winning season. What'd you tell the kids after the game?
Well, I told them that, we were very disappointed because, by goodness, we're in the habit of going to a bowl game every December, and we don't want to get out of that habit. And, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And, we've overcome a lot of things, and we'll overcome this. with a good hard-nosed spring practice. And, you know, I think our players are anxious to get started right now. But I told them, too, that, you know, that probably we exceeded the expectations of a lot of people because, you know, I don't think with the number of people that we lost coming off the 12-1 season that we had the year before, that people really thought that probably we would have a winning football season this year. But I think we, you know, have tremendous spirit. I think we have tremendous pride in our young men, and I think we have tremendous character in our football program. And, you know, I know our young men will do what it takes to get back.
All right, Coach. Well, when we come back, we'll take a look at all the highlights from Saturday's Air Force BYU football game. In fact, it was on national television.
Well, John, we really appreciate our fan support this year. We set an